We know you want to be a traveling nurse, so we hooked you up with something special. Check this out.
Oh my God, what is this?
Your own mobile CAT scan machine.
In the early 2000s, MTV's Pimp My Ride burst onto the television scene and quickly became a cultural sensation. The show captivated audiences with its mix of automotive wizardry, over-the-top transformations, and the charm of its charismatic host, rapper Xzibit. For many, it was the epitome of early 2000s car culture, a unique blend of humor, spectacle, and the transformative magic of reality television. Yet beneath the flashy paint jobs and extravagant interior modifications lay a more complicated story. While Pimp My Ride entertained millions and inspired countless young car enthusiasts, it was not without its share of controversy and criticism. In this in-depth look, we'll explore the full story of Pimp My Ride, from its meteoric rise to its eventual downfall, uncovering the behind-the-scenes practices, the accusations of fakery, and the lasting impact on reality TV and car culture. When Pimp My Ride premiered on MTV in 2004, it quickly became a flagship show for the network. At its core, the show was about transformation, taking something old, battered, and barely functional, and turning it into something spectacular and unique. The premise was simple yet incredibly effective. Each episode would feature a young car owner with a dilapidated vehicle in dire need of an upgrade. The show's crew, led by Xzibit, would take the car to a custom shop where it would be completely overhauled with wild and inventive modifications that catered to the owner's personality and interests. The transformations were not just repairs, they were full-blown makeovers that often included elements one would never expect to find in a car: fish tanks, custom paint jobs, gaming systems, and even hot tubs. Each episode seemed to up the ante on creativity and extravagance. This was a significant factor in the show's appeal. It wasn't just about fixing a car, it was about imagining the most outrageous ways to enhance it, blending function with spectacle. The show also capitalized on the growing interest in car culture at the time. The early 2000s saw a surge in the popularity of car modification, spurred by the release of movies like The Fast and the Furious, and a broader cultural fascination with customization and personal expression through vehicles. Pimp My Ride tapped into this trend perfectly, offering a television experience that felt fresh, exciting, and directly in line with the zeitgeist. But beyond the flashy modifications and wild designs, Pimp My Ride struck a chord with audiences because of its narrative of transformation and redemption. Many of the car owners featured on the show came from modest backgrounds and had compelling personal stories. The idea that their old, beaten-down cars could be transformed into something extraordinary was more than just a physical change. It was symbolic of hope and possibility. This narrative of personal redemption through automotive transformation resonated with many viewers, making the show not just entertaining, but emotionally engaging as well. As with any reality TV show, what viewers saw on Pimp My Ride was often just the tip of the iceberg. The production process was far more complex and orchestrated than the final edited episode suggested. Understanding this process is key to uncovering the controversies that would later surface about the show's authenticity. Each episode began with the selection of a participant, often chosen for their compelling backstory or the dramatic state of their vehicle. The producers would then work with the car customization shop, initially West Coast Customs, and later Galpin Autosports, GAS, to plan the modifications. Contrary to the impression that the modifications were spontaneous or based solely on the car owner's personality, a significant amount of planning went into each transformation to ensure it would be visually impressive for television. Once a car was selected for an episode, it was taken to the shop for a comprehensive overhaul. The customization process was extensive and often took weeks, despite the show creating an illusion that it happened much more quickly. During this time, participants were often left without their cars, sometimes for months, and the modification process was a tightly controlled production. Many former contestants reported being provided with temporary rental cars that were less than reliable, adding an unexpected inconvenience to their experience. The reality of the modifications was also far less glamorous than the final reveal suggested. Many of the over-the-top features added to the cars, such as popcorn machines, extravagant sound systems, or hot tubs, were often non-functional or impractical. These elements were installed primarily for the wow factor during the reveal and were not intended to be permanent features. In some cases, the modifications were removed immediately after filming, either because they were impractical or because they interfered with the vehicle's functionality. For all the magic that Pimp My Ride seemed to create on screen, there were many illusions and half-truths that producers carefully orchestrated behind the scenes. The show, like much of reality television, relied on a mix of genuine moments and heavily scripted or staged elements to maximize drama and entertainment value. The reality of Pimp My Ride was that much of what seemed spontaneous or genuine was, in fact, staged for the cameras. Contestants were often coached on how to react to various situations to ensure that their emotions were suitably dramatic for television. This included everything from their reactions to seeing Xzibit at their door, to their responses during the final reveal of their pimped-out ride. Participants have revealed that multiple takes were often necessary to capture the perfect reaction, blurring the line between genuine surprise and rehearsed performance. Furthermore, the narrative arc of each episode was carefully crafted to build maximum tension and emotional payoff. This meant that certain elements of the participants' stories were emphasized or downplayed depending on what the producers thought would make for the most compelling episode. This manipulation extended to the cars themselves, where the dire state of the vehicles was sometimes exaggerated to make the transformations seem even more miraculous. One of the most significant criticisms of Pimp My Ride came from former participants who reported that many of the show's most impressive modifications were purely for show. Several contestants revealed that the flashy gadgets installed in their cars, such as DVD players, gaming consoles, and champagne coolers, were removed shortly after filming. In some instances, these additions were never fully functional to begin with. They were installed just long enough to film the reveal segment. This practice was not only misleading but also disappointing for the participants, who were led to believe they were getting more substantial upgrades than they actually received. Some former participants have even described how these installations could damage their cars, leaving them with vehicles that looked flashy but were riddled with problems. Another major issue that arose was the show's focus on aesthetic modifications at the expense of mechanical repairs. Many of the vehicles featured on Pimp My Ride were in poor condition, not just cosmetically but mechanically as well. However, the show's format prioritized dramatic visual transformations over necessary repairs to the engine, transmission, or other critical components. This often left participants with cars that looked fantastic on the outside but were still prone to breakdowns and mechanical failures. Former contestants have recounted how, despite their cars looking pristine after the show's modifications, they soon experienced significant mechanical issues that the show did not address. This approach prioritized entertainment over the genuine improvement of the vehicles, leading to dissatisfaction among participants who felt misled by the show's promise of a complete transformation. As Pimp My Ride continued to dominate the airwaves, whispers of dissatisfaction began to emerge from former participants and insiders. These stories painted a starkly different picture of the show than what audiences saw on TV. The controversies surrounding Pimp My Ride were varied, but they generally fell into a few key areas. Several former participants have spoken out about feeling exploited by the show's producers. While they were drawn in by the promise of a dream car makeover, they were often subjected to emotional manipulation and scripted moments designed to heighten drama for television. Some felt that their personal stories were used to add emotional weight to the episodes, without a genuine concern for their well-being. There were also reports of participants being chosen specifically because of their vulnerabilities, which the producers then exploited to create more emotionally charged episodes. This practice raised ethical questions about the responsibilities of reality TV producers toward their participants and the extent to which they would go to manufacture drama. The most pervasive controversy was the extent to which the show misled both participants and viewers. The elaborate modifications showcased during the final reveal often turned out to be far less substantial than they appeared. Many participants reported that the upgrades to their cars were either removed after filming or were of such poor quality that they soon fell apart. For viewers, the show presented itself as a genuine transformation experience. But behind the scenes, it was clear that the primary goal was to create entertaining television, not necessarily to improve the lives of the participants. The dissatisfaction among former participants eventually led to legal repercussions for the show's producers. Some participants sought legal action, alleging that they were misled about the nature of the modifications and the overall experience. These legal challenges further tarnished the show's reputation and added to the growing public backlash against its practices. West Coast Customs, the shop featured in the early seasons, also faced criticism for its role in the deceptive practices. Although the shop was known for its genuine custom work outside of the show, its association with Pimp My Ride led to a temporary setback in its reputation, forcing it to distance itself from the show after the 4th season. When the customization duties were transferred to Galpin Auto Sports in later seasons, the controversy followed, demonstrating that the issues were more deeply rooted in the show's production practices than in any particular shop. As the years went by, Pimp My Ride began to lose its luster. By its later seasons, the show's formula had started to feel repetitive, and viewers were becoming increasingly aware of the scripted nature of the episodes. The rise of the internet and social media also made it easier for former participants and insiders to share their stories, exposing the reality behind the show's facade. Viewership numbers began to decline as the novelty of the outrageous car makeovers wore off, and audiences became more skeptical of the show's authenticity. MTV, which had initially found a gold mine in Pimp My Ride, began to pivot away from automotive-themed programming to focus on other reality TV formats that were gaining popularity. By 2007, after 6 seasons, MTV decided to cancel Pimp My Ride, officially ending an era of television that had been as controversial as it was popular. Despite its controversies and ultimate decline, Pimp My Ride left an indelible mark on both popular culture and the television landscape. The show played a significant role in bringing car customization into the mainstream, influencing a generation of car enthusiasts and inspiring numerous other automotive-themed reality shows. Shows like Overhaulin', West Coast Customs, and Counting Cars owe a debt to the groundwork laid by Pimp My Ride, even as they sought to distance themselves from the more sensationalized aspects of the genre. The show also sparked important conversations about the nature of reality television and the ethical responsibilities of producers. Pimp My Ride served as a case study in how far reality TV could stray from actual reality, prompting discussions about the treatment of participants, the manipulation of narrative, and the balance between entertainment and authenticity. One of the most significant legacies of Pimp My Ride was its impact on car culture. By showcasing the possibilities of vehicle customization to a wide audience, the show played a part in popularizing aftermarket modifications and personalized car designs. Many young viewers who grew up watching Pimp My Ride were inspired to get into car customization themselves, contributing to the growth of the industry. The show also helped to democratize car culture by highlighting the creativity and individuality that could be expressed through car modifications. It wasn't just about making a car look good, it was about making it a reflection of the owner's personality. This ethos of personalization and creative expression continues to be a driving force in car culture today. Pimp My Ride also played a role in the ongoing evolution of reality television ethics. The controversies surrounding the show highlighted the ethical dilemmas that arise when producers prioritize entertainment over the well-being of participants. These discussions have influenced how reality TV shows are produced today, with a greater emphasis on transparency, informed consent, and participant welfare. Many modern reality shows have learned from the missteps of Pimp My Ride and have implemented more stringent guidelines to ensure that participants are treated fairly and that the content presented is more reflective of actual events. While reality TV remains a genre prone to manipulation and sensationalism, the backlash against shows like Pimp My Ride has at least prompted more scrutiny and awareness among both producers and audiences. After Pimp My Ride ended, its key players moved on to new ventures, each navigating the mixed legacy of the show in different ways. For Xzibit, the show's host, Pimp My Ride, was a significant chapter in his career, but not the end of his public persona. Known primarily as a rapper before the show, Xzibit used his increased visibility to branch out into acting, appearing in various films and television shows. He also continued his music career, albeit with varying degrees of commercial success. Xzibit has occasionally spoken about his time on Pimp My Ride, reflecting on both the positives and negatives of the experience. While the show undoubtedly boosted his profile and brought him into millions of homes worldwide, it also associated him with the controversies that would later emerge. Nonetheless, Xzibit's charisma and ability to connect with participants were significant factors in the show's success, and he remains a beloved figure among fans of the show. For West Coast Customs, the custom shop featured in the early seasons, the end of Pimp My Ride was an opportunity to rebuild its brand away from the controversy. The shop, which had already established a reputation for high-quality custom work outside of the show, managed to bounce back by focusing on its core business and launching its own television series, Inside West Coast Customs. This new show aimed to showcase the genuine craftsmanship and creativity of the shop's team, distancing itself from the more sensationalist elements of Pimp My Ride. Similarly, Galpin Autosports, GAS, which took over the customization duties in later seasons, continued to thrive in the custom car industry. The shop maintained a reputation for innovative designs and quality work, helping to cement its status as a leader in automotive customization. Both shops' ability to weather the fallout from Pimp My Ride speaks to their underlying expertise and credibility in the automotive world. For the participants of Pimp My Ride, life after the show was a mixed bag. Some look back on their experience fondly, viewing it as a unique opportunity to be a part of a cultural phenomenon, even if the reality of the experience didn't fully match their expectations. These participants often speak of the thrill of meeting Xzibit and seeing their cars transformed, even if only temporarily. Others, however, have more bittersweet memories. For many, the reality of owning a pimped ride was far from the dream they were sold. The lack of practical upgrades and the removal of many modifications after filming left some participants feeling disillusioned. Additionally, the brief moment of fame came with its own set of challenges, as some participants struggled with the sudden attention or found their stories sensationalized or misrepresented. Several former participants have shared their stories online, providing a more nuanced view of what it was like to be on the show. These accounts range from nostalgic to frustrated, painting a complex picture of life after reality TV. While some former participants have enjoyed the occasional reunion or public appearance related to the show, for most, Pimp My Ride remains a curious and complicated chapter in their lives. Looking back at Pimp My Ride from today's perspective, it's clear that the show was a product of its time. It captured a moment in pop culture where car customization, reality TV, and the desire for spectacle all intersected. While the show's approach to reality television has been rightfully criticized, it also provided entertainment and inspiration to a generation of viewers. The dual legacy of Pimp My Ride is one of both entertainment and exploitation. On one hand, the show was undeniably fun to watch, offering viewers a chance to see ordinary cars transformed into extraordinary machines. It inspired a wave of interest in car customization and provided a platform for creative automotive expression. On the other hand, the show's treatment of participants and its focus on superficial modifications over meaningful upgrades exposed some of the darker sides of reality television. The balance between these two legacies is a reminder of the complexities inherent in reality TV production. Shows like Pimp My Ride highlight the tension between creating engaging content and respecting the truth and dignity of participants. This tension continues to be a relevant issue in the world of reality television, where the line between reality and entertainment remains blurry. Pimp My Ride also reflects the evolution of reality TV audiences. In the early 2000s, viewers were often more willing to accept what they saw on screen at face value. However, as the genre has matured and audiences have become more media savvy, there is a greater demand for authenticity and ethical transparency. The backlash against Pimp My Ride and similar shows underscores this shift, as viewers now expect more honesty and integrity from the content they consume. In conclusion, Pimp My Ride was more than just a television show. It was a cultural phenomenon that captured the imagination of a generation. Its blend of humor, creativity, and over-the-top car modifications provided a unique form of entertainment that still resonates with fans today. However, the controversies and criticisms that emerged after its initial success reveal a more complicated story, one of staged moments, superficial transformations, and ethical challenges. Despite its flaws, Pimp My Ride left a lasting impact on car culture and reality TV. It helped to popularize the concept of car customization and inspired countless viewers to express their creativity through their vehicles. It also served as a cautionary tale about the potential pitfalls of reality television, prompting important discussions about authenticity, participant welfare, and the ethics of entertainment. As we look back on Pimp My Ride, it serves as a reminder of the power of television to shape culture and the importance of critically engaging with the media we consume. While the show may have been more spectacle than substance, its influence is still felt today in both the world of car culture and the ongoing evolution of reality TV. Whether you loved it or found it problematic, Pimp My Ride remains an unforgettable part of television history, a reminder of a time when anything seemed possible with a little imagination, some paint, and a whole lot of chrome.